So I recently read the Jim Henson Biography, which is a great book. I really enjoyed it. This was a great book to kind of dive in and learn so much about Jim Henson. I didn't know too much about him other than being the creator of the Muppets and Fraggle Rock and all these great almost Muppet and puppet productions, Labyrinth, The Dark Crystal. But I didn't know too much about his personal life or how he got to become the Jim Henson that we know. So this book was really great. It went into a lot of great detail, and I learned a lot about his persistence from just wanting to be in TV, leading up to, you know, almost 20 years before the Muppet Show was actually created, and how he kept on trying and doing one thing after another thing and success after success. And then even the Muppet Show, he couldn't actually get off the ground for a very long time, and he finally got it. And it was great. It spanned through his entire life, and I learned a lot about him that I did not know, which I wanted to know about his personal life and whatnot. And of course, at the end, I don't want to spoil anything, but he dies, unfortunately. So if anybody was driving through Yellowstone, this is when I finished the book, and saw a guy biking with some tears in his eyes, that's because I was listening to the very end of the book. Now, as an overall sort of note on the book, it's not my favorite biography of all time. It was very informative, but one of my favorite biographies of all times is actually the Steve Jobs biography, whether you like him or not, because I love that story because he's got such a rise to fame and a crash and a rise to fame. And, you know, it's just sort of a roller coaster for Steve. Whereas Jim, it was sort of just a slow, low climb to the top. And then once he got to the top, it sort of plateaued a little bit. And there were some struggles, but no real fall that he had to rise back up to again. And it's a pretty tragic story, like I said, the way he, like I said, he passes away at the end. And same thing with him and Steve Jobs. Both had illnesses that probably could have been prevented if they just went to the doctor. So let's go to the doctor, people, okay? That's the lesson I'm taking away from this. Not really. That lesson plus a whole lot more lessons. But anyway, it was a great read. If you like the Muppets, or you want to read about somebody who passion takes over his life and really was a force of positive energy and really knew how to problem solve. That's one thing about Jim Henson. Never got mad, according to the book anyway, for the most part. Or I should say he got mad, but he never got angry or vocalized that in a bad way. Anyway, I'd recommend it. It was a great book. I thoroughly enjoyed it. So that's the Jim Henson Biography, and I listened to that on the road. Like I said, I like to listen in the ears and have the story read to me. And I know a lot of people also say they have a hard time listening to audiobooks. Well, I tell you one thing. Excuse me. Maybe try doing it while you're exercising. When I'm in the car, I will tend to drift off because you're sort of not as focused. But when you're biking, you sort of have your brain sort of moving on the bike thing, which does sort of get a little bit repetitive, and your body gets into this motion, which allows your brain to really soak in the information that's coming in. So anyway, check it out. It's the Jim Henson Biography. I'll link to it down at the bottom. Anyway, guys, I'm going to keep on pedaling and making it to Florida. All right.